Hello, I'm Helen Cummins and this is Mallorca Living, a space dedicated to those who are dreaming of making Mallorca their home. Today is a special day. As we come to the end of 2025, we thought for a special edition, you're going to actually hear more about me and my life in Mallorca. And I've invited Izzy Newman, a good friend, to come and be the presenter here today. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy it.
So, thank you so much it's an honor to be here.
Thank you, Izzy.
How does it feel now you're in the hot seat?
Yes, a little bit different, but nice. I'm excited, actually. Yes.
But it's a perfect moment, isn't it, to stop, reflect and pause on 2025. And how would you describe it in one word? How was your year? How do you put that into one word?
Yes. It was difficult to kind of come up with one word, to be honest, because many things have happened this year, but I would say abundant would be a very good word. Another word I could use is validation, I think, from a business perspective. But if I look at everything in total, I think abundance is a good word.
And also feeling. What has the whole feeling of 2025 been for you?
Fast, actually. Although I'm promoting a slow life here in Mallorca, I think, like many people, it's just been a very fast year. I felt, we're here at the end of the year already, and it feels like too fast almost.
Because there's been a major transformation, hasn't there?
Mm-hmm.
What has transformed since the pandemic?
Yes, a lot. We have actually changed a lot the business model of abcMallorca and Helen Cummins. And it was actually even before the pandemic that we were looking at a lot of things wondering really how do we stay relevant in a business sector that's actually globally changing and transforming. How will we maintain this business? Because really the media business and information portals like abcMallorca, the whole world is changing, and even now faster than ever with AI. So of course you can't ignore all of these things. And what happened was, even in January 2020, before the pandemic, we already realized that there was a shift in the market away from print and going more towards digital, which is fine for us because we're very strong in both platforms. But I also felt that maybe to secure our future into the long term, that we need to diverse into other sectors. So it was really a case of evaluating our competencies and looking at the market and thinking, what are the problems of clients that we potentially could solve? And that's where the whole idea started, really.
Yeah, because you reduced the amount of magazines, is that right?
That's right. In 2018 and 2019, they were the biggest years of abcMallorca, although I'm delighted to say in 2024 and 2025, we've actually surpassed those figures that we achieved in 2018 and 2019 in terms of our revenue and profit, which is fantastic. But needless to say, you always have to look at where's your business going for the long term. And that's why I decided to focus less on print and focus more on digital. And the other point was to actually offer a new service to the market, which was the property buyer's agency service. So yes, it was a big change away from the print, much more focused on the digital, and then launching this new service, property buyer's agency service.
So what was the biggest risk? And what was the biggest sort of reward out of that change?
Like everything in life, when you're used to swimming in your comfortable zone and surrounded by what you know and have the confidence that you're very competent at that, it's very easy to stay there. what if you leave those safe waters and go transition to a new part or a new place that you don't know? Of course, you're much more at risk of making a mistake, of not being accepted, and you don't know what you don't know. So there's all sorts of possibilities that you make the wrong decisions.
And how has that affected your day-to-day work schedule then? Has it completely transformed it? Has it been an easy transformation, or
I think I've
more
had
of a
to
work?
be incredibly patient. So I would say that this launch of the Helen Cummins brand, Mallorca Living Property Buyers Agency, it was a project I started back in 2018. So you can imagine, really, that's why I say validation. This was the first year that it was actually really, in terms of validation, working incredibly well. So I've had to really take a long-term perspective on it. And I remember even in 2021, when we had 1 million visitors to the website, I was still very, very slow in accepting clients who wanted to advertise on the platform, because I just felt that it was something that once it, it was more a long-term vision I have, that we want to offer something that was unique and different in the real estate market. The property buyers agency service doesn't exist. Many clients don't even understand what it is. So therefore, there was a long period of educating people. Why would you use this service? What are the benefits of the service? So I had to be very, very slow and strategic, I would say, about how we would enter the market and what we offer.
And of course, you have a team.
Yes.
And how's that affected there? How do you collaborate with them to make this success?
Yeah, I mean, it's like steering a ship, isn't it? Being the leader. I think I'm much more in a leadership role since the pandemic, rather than being in more an operational part. I think that it was really creating a vision for my team that they could understand and that they bought into. Because at the core of everything we do is Mallorca. I mean, we promote the best of what Mallorca has to offer, whether you're coming here on holidays or whether you're planning to live here. So it was really important for me that my team understand what we're doing and why we're changing, why there's a need to move and reinvent ourselves. And they were excited, because that also brings along opportunities for them to learn new skills and move into new territory. So I think together we have learned a huge amount and had a lot of fun while we're doing it.
Brilliant. So important.
Yes,
So important.
absolutely.
But what about your clients, your loyal clients? How have they been affected, and how have they received your changes?
Well, our clients are, for ABC Mallorca advertising clients, we work business to business. So our shift into the property buyers agency was a direct move from serving our clients who would be buying a property. And there's a huge amount of synergy between our advertising clients and now our end user clients, who are the buyers of properties, because many of our clients are connected with providing services related to buying a property in Mallorca. So we work with construction companies, interior designers, furniture stores, lawyers who specialize in property real estate. So, law. So there's a lot of synergy between our advertising clients and now our property buying clients.
So now it's a new voice, it's a new chapter. And how has launching the Mallorca Living Podcast come about and affected your everyday life?
Okay. Yeah, the podcast was a very personal project, I would say. It's something I've been thinking about for a long, long time, because I just had this feeling that people who are dreaming of living here in Mallorca, they need to know as much as they possibly can about what is life like in Mallorca. And I thought, who better to explain that to them than people who have already made the transition? And it's really turned out since we launched this project that there's so many small nuances, small tips, but really significant and really important. But it also builds confidence. So if people are in another country and just feels like a dream that maybe isn't achievable, and then they listen to a podcast and they realize, oh wow, that family were able to do it, so maybe my family can do it. Or that lady was able to transition and create the most incredible business, maybe I could do that. So I feel that the podcast is like this incredible inspiration for people who want to make the move, and they can find out all kinds of incredible information that just, and it feels authentic. That's for me the other point, that it's not somebody trying to sell anything. It's really people who have made this big transition in their life and who want to share something that they feel could be valuable to others who are dreaming to do the same.
Perfect. And what's been the most, because you launched in April, is that
The
right?
9th of April,
9th of April.
This year, yes. And we've already completed, I think, over 20 editions. So it's amazing. And it really has been a big success. And so many of our clients, our property buyers clients who contact us now, it is as a result of listening to the stories from clients who have already used our service. So of course, they're the people who have had the experience. So they know how much it benefited them along the way. And then they're sharing that experience with others who potentially, could use our service.
So what surprised you the most about hosting?
How much I enjoy it, actually. I absolutely love it myself. It's something, I suppose, even when I was in my 20s, I did think of doing TV, presenting, and so on. But it was just always a little seed somewhere behind, and now it's grown into something I really enjoy.
I'm going to interrupt you by saying your opening take was one take. So it's a true professional at work. I just thought I needed to add that. I was incredibly impressed. But the success of the property buyers service, what do you put that all down to? Helping people transition to the life on the island it must be a wonderful experience.
It is, because really when I originally launched Helen Cummins' platform dedicated to people who want to live in Mallorca, I didn't really have the business model in my mind. I know that sounds crazy for a business person to say that I put all this huge investment and work, but I just felt if I create something that doesn't exist, and this type of information we offer, it just does not exist on any other platform, then people would start to use it, they would trust it, they would see the passion and the love really that goes into what we do. And then, I would figure out where the opportunity is for us to add value to the client. And because in recent years, we've had a lot more North American clients buying in Mallorca, the normal model in North America is that you have a property buyer's agency service, and you have a seller's agency. So you don't have the dual role as is normal in Mallorca or even in Europe. So I felt, with our local knowledge, our in-depth knowledge of Mallorca, the massive network of businesses that we know throughout the years, this could all add a lot of value to new people coming to the island. So I thought that's the link. Bring all this together and offer it as a service. And I think the biggest difference from what we do, we are a service company. We are providing a service to those who are buying. A real estate agency representing the seller is selling. And it's the difference between selling and service. And I think everything we do is about providing a service rather than selling something.
Yes. What a wonderful concept. And what resonates so strongly with them? What is it that
I think it's the trust.
Right.
I honestly think it's down to trust. So all of the people I've interviewed, that was at the heart of what they felt. They, making a massive decision, like making a decision to buy a property for millions of euros. It's one of the biggest transactions people will ever make. And they're doing it in a foreign country where they don't know the laws, they don't speak the language. They're so scared that they will make a bad decision. And that's completely understandable. So what they need is that guiding hand to show them where to go, what they can find. And honesty, I think that's what came across very strongly, that people, once they'd had the online conversation, the initial consultation, and then they actually met in person, either Lucy, Nadine, Stephanie, myself, they really understood that we're not trying to sell them something. We are trying to ensure that the decision they make is the best decision for them, with the knowledge that they need.
And what are they looking for in their Mallorca dream?
It's a lifestyle vision.
Right.
Most people coming here, they have a vision about what they're dreaming of will be their lifestyle. Many of them are looking to slow down. And again, I think that's why the whole concept behind the Helen Cummins brand is slow living. And people are searching for that, and to leave maybe very busy lives, very stressy lives, and come here and have something new, have something different. And they resonate with that. But everybody is so different. And I think you see that also from the people we've interviewed on the podcast. Some people were looking to create a vineyard, and somebody else is looking for a townhouse, and somebody else wants a lock up and leave apartment. And it's just, everybody is so unique in their dream. And our work is to really understand that, listen, ask questions. And sometimes it's a process, because people come here with initially one idea.
Yes.
And then they end up with a completely different property because they realize it wasn't the right thing for them.
Yes, there was a couple, for example, in Poyensa, who've always been to Poyensa, with the wonderful cycling and super fit couple, and they ended up southwest. They ended up down Port Adriano.
So it is a process, and you need to be patient for that. And to be fair, if you're a real estate agent, then you have a listing of properties, and your job is to sell that property. So you're not going to be interested, really. If you have a property in the north, you want the client to buy your property in the north. Whereas for us, it doesn't matter to us whether you buy in the north, the south, the east, or the west. It's just, what is your dream, and how can we make sure that we can fulfill that dream? And that's what we do.
Favourite story? What was the favourite story of this year with regards
from the podcast?
For people relocating to Mallorca.
Well, I think the couple, the Trevor and Judy, who spent 5.5, 6 years on a boat and sailed into Mallorca and decided this is it. People who have visited maybe 40 different countries in their life, and then they choose this small island when they could choose anywhere. I mean, this is just such an honor in a way, such a compliment to what Mallorca has to offer. So I loved that story, and they were great people, and a beautiful friendship blossoming from that. But we've had so many incredible. Everybody's transition story is unique, and it's what brings us so much joy, to be part of that story for them.
But of course, with this, wonderful new experience in your life and adventure, if I may call it that, there's also a personal side. There's a personal life going on, and you've had a very busy one, haven't you? Tell us about it. What's been happening in your world? Yes,
I took on one project, which is an exciting project. It's something I've wanted to do for a while. I'm writing a book at the moment.
Wonderful.
And the book is actually very related to my own personal journey over the last 7 or 8 years. And I have had really, I suppose, a very big personal transformation. And I became a Kundalini yoga teacher. I have been offering day retreats, and we did some retreats in Marrakesh. And it's a part of my life that it's separate, but yet it's very integrated. And a lot of what I learn in the whole spirituality world, it helps me to live my day better every day. And I think that has maybe influenced other people to create a curiosity. So a lot of my clients have come on my day retreats. Some of my clients have come to Marrakesh, and some people are now practicing Kundalini yoga daily. So that's been great. So my book is really about capturing that story. It's part memoir, part kind of self-help manual, I would say, where a lot of the nuggets of wisdom I've gained over the last few years are, I'm trying to document them and share it in the hope that maybe it helps other people with their, with their story or their transition, because we can live too fast and maybe too unconsciously. And what Kundalini did for me was, it was basically like an awakening. It was becoming more aware and becoming more conscious. And that helps me to live, I think, a better life, yeah. I would love to ask you to do a favor for me. Mallorca Living is a video podcast dedicated to those who are dreaming of making a life for themselves here on Mallorca. This is a very personal project for me, where I get to share with you wonderful stories about people who have actually made the transition to Mallorca. I would love to ask you to subscribe to this channel, because it helps the channel grow, and it makes sure that we continue to grow and prosper and reach as many people as possible who are interested in making Mallorca their home. Thank you so much for subscribing and liking and sharing your comments. We love to hear your thoughts and your feedback. Thank you so much.
Because of the personal health as well, that's what I was touching on. You've had a discovery in your own personal health.
About my health. Yes, 3 years ago, I had it was actually kind of a miracle at the time, because in just a general checkup, my doctor found a suspect lump that in my breast, and he advised that we get this checked, and I did. And subsequently, the lump was removed, and it was pre-cancer. So I was very lucky, because it was something that could have been very difficult to detect, but it was detected very, very early. So I actually didn't need to have chemo or radiation therapy. It was actually just removing the lump was enough. So that was kind of my first, let's say, issue health-wise, where up to then I'd never had any health scare, let's say. So that starts to put things into perspective. And I think when you're female in your 50s, a lot of things are changing already in your world. And then, quite by chance this year in January, I was sitting with a very nice doctor, Dr. Jose Hernandez, and he's a longevity doctor, and he explained to me that he was setting up a new clinic in Mallorca, and he offered me to have all these tests that he offers for longevity. So I thought, wow, this is great. Sure, I will do this. And it was a lot of time, a lot of effort. There was a lot of things. But anyway, I thought he's going to come back and tell me, well done. You're the healthiest 50-something-year-old I've ever met. But actually, he contacted me and asked me well, after your scare 3 years ago, did they do any DNA testing? And I said no, because actually there's no history of breast cancer in my family. So he said, okay, come and see me. And then he told me that I had this mutation of the BRCA1 gene. People know it because it was made very famous by Angelina Jolie.
Right.
But in her case, her mother and her aunt had both died of breast cancer, ovarian cancer. So I was absolutely shocked to find this out because, as I said, there was no history of cancer, breast cancer in my family. So it's meant that, I was strongly advised that I do surgeries to prevent and make sure, because when you have this gene, which is about 1 in 400 women have it,
Right.
the chance of you developing breast or ovarian cancer is over 80%.
Wow.
So
Wow.
I felt, obviously, I was on a path, on my destiny was probably that in my future this would happen. So with modern medicine, we're so lucky because, first of all, you can find out, which is a miracle in itself. And I actually could do something about it. So that's been my I suppose, health issues this year was really to make sure I'm in a kind of a safe place with prevention.
That, for your daughter, no doubt as well. I would imagine that is something that to looking ahead, finding out that it's good information.
Lucky. With Eva, she's because it has a 50-50 chance of being passed on, and luckily for my beautiful daughter, she did not get that, and we're very happy about that. And again, it's really, I suppose the point is, it's good to know. Some people say, oh, I prefer not to know. But I think, certainly in my case, I felt it was good to know. And it's been a tough experience.
Of course. I mean, forearmed is forewarned, isn't it? As the old-fashioned expression goes.
Exactly.
But writing the book, has that been therapeutic?
Absolutely. It's been amazing. And it's not only about that issue, but it's kind of weaving together all of the different, experiences that one has in their life and what you learn from those experiences. And maybe by sharing those experiences with other people, they can also gain some insight.
Absolutely. How do you fit it all in with the cycling, the yoga, the podcast? Amazing.
I have an amazing team, and that is the secret. People ask me, I have a friend, she said, I think, Helen, you have 48 hours in every day and the rest of us only have 24. As I said, since the pandemic, I really have stepped back from the day-to-day because I have an amazing team, and I have a couple of people who have been with me for many, many years, and they are brilliant at their job. And I'm guiding, but I'm not there daily saying this or that. And then we hire people who have amazing skills, our social media manager, our graphic designer, our writers, they're all very, very skilled people. So I feel, I'm the leader, but these people are so talented and so committed that they do a great job.
But that's also a credit to you. If you have members of your team, my father, actually a businessman, always used to say to me, you're only as good as your worst employee.
Yeah.
And I think that's a very true and valid comment.
True.
And the fact, as I said, it's a credit to you if you have this wonderful team that have been with you so long. So that is something that is it's good to hear. It's great to hear. Now then, as I said, you've got such a busy lifestyle, but 25 years you've been here on Mallorca. What changes have stood out to you over those 25 years of being here?
I think the biggest change is in the hospitality sector.
Yes.
So the offering of restaurants, like amazing restaurants on the island, is fantastic. The offering for boutique hotels, it's also amazing. And I think now Mallorca is just world class in terms of what it has to offer. Of course, there's a downside to that because we have millions and millions and millions of tourists every year. And the scare, which I can totally empathize, is that we reach a point of saturation. There's a maximum. And of course, as we all know, there's been bad, publicity in the world news that people are not welcome here. I would just say to that that's actually not the truth. People are very, very welcome to come to Mallorca, and the thing is, it's a smaller group of people who unfortunately feel a little bit threatened that their culture, their beauty, that the island will be in some way damaged. And that's why we ask people when they do come to really respect the island, to take care of it, to clean up and make sure that you're not leaving a footprint. So, tread lightly on the island, I suppose, is the point. Respect. And then it'll be here for many, many years for many, many people to enjoy.
So the evolvement, how it's evolved over this time, do you think it is going to improve then with the impact of tourism that they are trying to manage? Is the culture being damaged? Is the community being evolved in a way that it can be sustainable for everybody?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it is to do with government policy, to be fair, because there is a shortage of housing here. There is, like in many, many places in the world. And we need policies from the government that also protect the local community. But on the same token, Mallorca is very dependent on the tourist sector to provide employment. And, so there's good and bad with everything. And I think the management has to come into where, as you just mentioned, about reaching a point of too many. And maybe we've already surpassed that, and therefore we have to curtail. I don't know. I'm not the one suggesting one way or another, but I think it's all about people when they managing. It's managing it. And we do have a lot of hotels, we do have a lot of restaurants, so we do need the tourism industry to prosper and grow. And they over the last number of years, what I've seen a big change is that we've moved towards a more luxury tourism, which is maybe for the island more sustainable in the long run.
Completely. So behind the scenes, here we are, 2025, the highs. What was the laughter? What inspired you so much, and where was all the fun? What did you enjoy?
Where was all the fun? I think there was a lot of work. But with my team, we have a lot of fun. And even the day of my birthday in June, we had an amazing day in the north of the island. We went to the beach. I gave a yoga class. We had a lunch. Brilliant. We had a super nice time. And we have a lot of fun together. I suppose from a personal perspective, this year I went to Australia for my niece's wedding earlier on. That was an amazing trip. But other than that, I've been very much on the island. And, I took my own summer holidays here in Mallorca because we have everything. And it's like, we don't need to travel, actually. We have it here on the island, everything.
And challenges. What are the most challenging parts of 2025 for you?
Well, I think the health issue was my biggest challenge because I'm not somebody who sits around waiting to feel better and everything. I'm always spinning a lot of plates. But that was definitely a challenge. But other than that, I think it's been an incredible year, and I'm very proud actually of what we've managed to achieve this year.
And so we're knocking on 2026. what is planned for the future, professionally and personally?
Okay, well, professionally, next year it's very much about, I have the idea that I want to rebrand and reposition ABC Mallorca. So we have as I said, over the last 7 years, 7 years, the predominant focus of the business. We've put a lot of resources and energy and effort towards the Helen Cummins brand to build it up.
Yes.
I now feel that we have it in a very good place and it's running and it's working really well. And now I want to go and really implement a lot of what the great things that we've seen working well on Helen Cummins on ABC Mallorca. And ABC Mallorca, we still have over 6 million visitors to the website. And we have an incredible Instagram account where we're heading now towards the 100,000 mark, which we're very excited about. And we have our business networking lunches, which also it just runs and it's wonderful. So for me, a lot of it is just making sure we keep doing what we do really well, and also slowly improving what we can. And I think ABC Mallorca, we're ready now to dive in and give it a whole new look and feel. And I will reposition it also. But more coming in 2026. And from a personal perspective, I am going to again do the 312 cycling event that's here.
Wow.
I've completed 3 times the 167, and I will aim to do the 167 again, but I want to do it in a better time, less than 7 hours. And we have also an event coming up in May, which is a cycling event where again I will do the whole perimeter of Mallorca, the 312 of Mallorca, in 2 days, not in 1 day, in 2 days. So that's going to be an exciting event in May. And other than that, like with all my normal things going on, we have retreats planned. The retreat in March, it's almost full, which like literally we sent it out in the newsletter and it just books up, which is wonderful. And I will do more of the day retreats because when the feedback I get from people who participate is just amazing and
satisfying to be able to
it's very fulfilling.
Host. Yes,
it's very fulfilling.
Yes.
And very special. And I meet amazing people that, they come and say, oh, I've been getting your newsletter for years and now I'm here in person, and they're very excited. And I just love that. And of course, we have sent out the book proposal to some publishers, some of the big publishers. So I'm just like, ooh, do we get a deal? So that would be just a dream if I can get a book publishing deal for my book next year.
I mean, when we met years ago, I said, you've got to write. I think there's not just one book in you. There's probably about 5 or 6 books in you.
Well, let's start with one.
Yeah, absolutely. 2025, though, there's a lot to be grateful and for, isn't there?
Gratitude. Absolutely. It's like I say, the year's been full for me, like in terms of abundance, and therefore from abundance comes so much gratitude for all that we have. Absolutely.
So what message would you like to send out to your listeners on this podcast where we've swapped seats? Yeah. Is there something special?
Well, I think it's beautiful to connect, and honestly, I think that's what people are yearning for. So I'm always very proud of the fact that since ABC Mallorca exists 20, now it's going into 20, how many years? 23 years. Next year is incredible.
Not looking old enough to be 23 years, no. Anyway.
What we've done over all this time is connected people. Yes. And whether it's through the business lunch, whether it's through the open house, now we have the retreats. And it's just, if you're on the periphery and you live already here in Mallorca and you want to, join some of those events in order to meet other like-minded people, or if you're in your home country listening to this and dreaming of making that move, come and move here. If that's what's really on your mind and you're dreaming, it's one of the best places in the world you can live in.
I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah, exactly. Because you've been here so long too. And you just never tire of Mallorca, because it's sunshine and it's beauty and bliss. And we really do live in paradise. And for that, we're so grateful.
So is that your wish for 2026, that it continues that way?
It absolutely is, to continue that. And I think we do have to focus, though, on this personal connection. And I think it's going to become more and more prevalent and more desired in people's lives, that we don't want to be on the digital, the virtual necessarily, and with AI and all of this. We actually want to go back and connect with real people in real time, and have that joy of having a great conversation with somebody who you've just met, and they inspire you, or you hear something that changes your life. I mean, we all need that. So I think it's this connection that's beautiful, and that's what I would love to propel and move forward.
Well, I cannot thank you enough. I said at the opening, it's an honour, and it has been an honour. I follow you, and I enjoy watching your success year after year.
Thank you, Izzy.
Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you too. And all the very best for 2026. Have a wonderful year.
Thank you. I will.
Well done. Thank you. If you're dreaming of making Mallorca your home, let me invite you to use our property buyers agency service. With our service and our help, we can guide you to the right location that fits with your lifestyle. We'll also help you find the perfect home that fits with your dream. Contact us today for an online consultation, or book an appointment and come and see us in Palma. We would love to help you make your transition to Mallorca a reality.